Hey, it's Alvin from Priceline, Pharmacists with Brunswick, and we're here today for the Ask Alvin show. Running a little bit late, as usual, but it's been, hey, I'm here now. This is episode number 10. So my intention for this show is to provide you with as much value as I can and much knowledge as I can regarding wellness, pharmacy medicines, using natural medicines, pharmacy medicines together, and just helping you get better sooner. So as always during the show, I'll be answering questions live. So if you have any questions, please make sure you pop them in the comments below, like, share, and let me know what questions you further want answered. And I guess we'll do the disclaimer now. So, all the advice that I give here is general advice. So please always contact your healthcare professional for advice that's directed and pertinent for you in particular. And if I do mention any dosages and stuff with medications, please make sure you always read the label and use only as directed. Cool. Let's go. Let's roll into the questions. So the first question that we have today is from Marcus, and he asked a really cool question. Marcus asked today, what's the deal with adrenal fatigue and how can I help control it? So, adrenal fatigue. What is adrenal fatigue? So, adrenal fatigue is basically our adrenal glands, which sit on top of the kidneys, are constantly under pressure. They're constantly releasing a hormone called cortisol. Without getting all too chemical and all pharmacodynamic or all, cortisol is a stress hormone. So when our body releases too much cortisol, it has all these other negative or detrimental effects on the body. Especially if you've got excess cortisol floating around your body, you're definitely going to feel really tired. Your immunity is going to go down, you're going to suffer from sleep disturbances, you're going to have cravings for sugar, you're also going to find that you're going to struggle to lose weight, and that usually manifests in typically like a band of fat around your adipose or around your belly. So if you're experiencing all that, it might be adrenal fatigue, and mostly, this occurs in people who are working too much, who obviously don't sleep well enough. Lots of endurance athletes also suffer from adrenal fatigue because they're training lots and they're not getting enough rest in between. So that's a little bit of background about adrenal fatigue. There's certainly a few things that you want to do to avoid compounding your adrenal fatigue and trying to restore your body back to its regular state. So obvious things like stopping caffeine, stopping the sweetness, because that places additional load on the kidneys and on your body and causes your body to release more cortisol. You want to add in lots of healthy fats in your diet, so avocados and coconut kind of fats. You want to up the cruciferous vegetables, so stuff like cauliflower, broccoli. You want to have a little bit more of that in your diet. In terms of medication, there's not really much that you can use. Unfortunately, a lot of the traditional medicines aim to treat the symptoms. So, certainly if you're not sleeping on the nights that are bad, you can use, the doctor might give you some sleeping tablets, and they'll be treating the symptoms of the adrenal fatigue, but not really getting down to the root cause. So, in terms of the root cause, what you want to try and do is, obviously, if you're training, you want to make sure that you get sufficient rest in between your training sessions. So that's super important, and you want to make sure that you go to sleep, get at least 8 hours of sleep. Super important. You want to make sure that you rest and recover really quickly, or essentially enough. Also using the favorites like fish oils, which help reduce the inflammatory response in your body and help your body heal a lot quicker. Vitamin D certainly helps with that. Also, there's a couple of specific herbs that we recommend, or that I recommend. My top 3 for trying to treat adrenal fatigue is rhodiola. So rhodiola is a really good relaxant. We've got ashwagandha as well, which is a traditional Vedic herb, which you can use to help with adrenal fatigue and modulate, and lower your cortisol secretion from your kidneys. And also reishi mushrooms as well are really useful for doing this. So you typically wouldn't use all 3 at once, but I like to use in my patients using like rhodiola at nighttime just to help you rest and recover really quickly, and then using something like ashwagandha in the morning as well that also gives you energy. So these three are what we know as adaptogens, another complicated term which I could probably go into later on down the track if you want some more information on those. So Marcus, hopefully that answers your question about adrenal fatigue and what we can do. I just touched on a few things around it. We could talk the whole day. And maybe we should do a webinar. So, if you think I should do a webinar on adrenal fatigue and what goes on and how to treat it and a little bit of the background to it, please leave a comment below and, I'll do that. And certainly if you're watching the replay below, please put a comment below and like it so I know that you watched it and, we can, if you're interested in doing a webinar with me on that. So cool, Marcus. Thanks, dude. Next question from Beck. Beck asked a really good question. She's asking, how do you know all the interactions, all the drug interactions that there are? Because when I speak to you guys seem to know lots, and I think you guys as in pharmacists. So, Beck, yes, great question. We don't actually know all the interactions. You'll find that a lot of pharmacists, including myself and our team, use the reference books a lot because there are just so many interactions, so we can't remember everything. What we do remember and what we get taught at school is there are sort of a few categories of medications. They all fall into different classes. And then, that's how we determine whether one interacts with other, because we just chunk up to the root medication class, if you will. And that will give us a fair idea of what sort of interactions there are. Because if class A drugs, they work on the body in this way and then cause this kind of effect to the receptors or, what actions they produce in the body. And then if we could look at drug Y, the way that works, and that falls into that category, as a pharmacist, we are trained to then look at, okay, so we know how Y works, we know how A works, A and Y, who chooses that? Silly, that's hilarious. And then we can work out, work out what the interactions are. Of course, pharmacists are across the top 100 interactions, medical interactions as well. So these are some things that we just deal with on a daily basis, so we definitely know these for sure. And then, of course, if you come to us, and quite a few pharmacists are now familiar with using, now familiar with interactions with natural medicines and pharmacy medicines. So, well, it looks like we do know a lot back. Really, there's a bit of a cheat system happening, and of course, we always use the reference books. Cool. Excellent. Next question is from Kathleen. She's asked, why do pharmacists ask me if I'm taking blood pressure medications when I buy anti-inflammatory tablets? So, bit of context, anti-inflammatory tablets, so these are stuff like diclofenac or like Voltaren and ibuprofen, which is Nurofen, and a few other brands of it. What happens is when you take anti-inflammatory medication, it may place extra strain on your kidneys, which can then increase your blood pressure. And then if you're taking some blood pressure medications, that can interfere with that as well. Some of the blood pressure medications can place extra strain on your kidneys, and then you end up with a whole heap of problems as well. So it just really depends on which blood pressure medication you're taking. Sometimes the combination ones can interfere with your anti-inflammatory tablets. So not interfere as such, but they're just playing extra strain on the kidneys. So that's why we ask that question. It's just a default thing that we need to know, because it can, if you're not doing it correctly, you can end up in hospital, and we don't want to do that. And that's why we are here to help prevent that. Cool. Next question I've got is from Elizabeth. Elizabeth asks, I hear Kava is all the rage. What is it and what can I use it for? Kava, yes, for whatever reason, has made the news in the past couple of weeks. Again, it tends to do that from time to time. Not really sure why, but Kava is something that we use quite regularly in the pharmacy to help our patients treat mild anxiety. We use it to treat period pain, and we use it as an anti-inflammatory. Kava is a root. It's a root powder that you typically find in South Pacific cultures like the Fijians and the Maoris and those Pacific Islanders take Kava regularly. It's a root compound, and basically it's a mild sedative and mild muscle relaxant. So it works really well in helping you manage your symptoms of anxiety, mild anxiety, and helps you manage the symptoms of period pain because it really relaxes the muscles around that area. And it has some mild anti-inflammatory properties as well. So the good thing about using Kava is it doesn't make you groggy the next day. You should feel nice and refreshed. And unlike taking some of the other medications or some of the other natural products you can use for mild anxiety, you should wake up feeling nice and clean. The thing with Kava is also you can't use it regularly, so we want to make sure that it's short-term use only. Specifically, if we're looking at treating mild anxiety and that kind of thing, I would definitely be looking at my favorite hero. So looking at your diet, getting rid of all the crap in your diet, getting rid of the refined sugars and the refined carbohydrates. Go to the cliche of exercising, because exercising produces tryptophan, which is involved in producing really good brain neurotransmitters and serotonin and all that kind of complicated things, which I should probably go through on another time. In fact, if you want me to go through all that, how the gut and exercise plays in helping you move, just leave a comment below and we can do that for another in-depth session, perhaps another webinar. So where was I? Kava, yeah, lost my train of thought. Right, yeah, so we're talking about other lifestyle management methods to help with your anxiety. So we're looking at exercise, foods as well. Just keep your foods nice and clean, lots of vegetables, avoid the sugars, avoid the carbs, the same old stuff. Fish oils, definitely, again. And for sure, the non-pharmaceutical or non-medication management stuff works really, really well. You just need to persist with it. So you're doing stuff like yoga, meditation, for sure, exercise that we've spoken about, any sort of movement, you'll find that helps really, really well in terms of mild anxiety and that kind of thing. And of course, you can use the medication. So when it gets, hopefully we want to try and manage your state with food, diet, maybe a little bit of Kava, and then if it's still not getting resolved, and if you've tried all the other things, then you definitely go to your doctor, because there are a few things that you can take on medication which you'll find to be really useful. And again, just for short-term use only, because they're only symptomatic fixes. They're not getting to the underlying root cause of what's causing your anxiety and how we can manage that with using a whole heap of lifestyle, food, diet, and other herby kind of approaches. Awesome, that's done. Thank you again for tuning in. This is the Christmas edition. Santa's coming on Monday. If you're watching the replay, please make sure you like and share it. Leave a comment below so I will do the next session, the next live Ask Alvin on Thursday. If you have any feedback, if you want to be part of the webinars, just leave them all in the comments below. And if you're watching it again, we'll make sure we get around to it. And your questions, just keep them coming. Cool. Thank you. Have a Merry Christmas, everybody. Thanks.